January 6, 2021 is a day that will go down in history as the day of the alarming and violent attack on Capitol Hill. Joining us now to discuss this violent day is FAMU Law visiting professor Shelley Page. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Always good to see you. Were there signs that violence was imminent given the political climate?
I would say so. And I think for the last 4 years, all we have to do is look at the rhetoric that has been ratcheted up over and over and over. And something as simple when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were running for office, a bus carrying volunteers for their campaign was almost run off of the road in the state of Texas by Trump supporters, waving fat flags from their vehicles. Looking at Trump's Twitter feed, the comments he would make on Twitter feed, the way he responded to reporters, the comments he would make at rallies, encouraging his supporters to be violent, encouraging law enforcement officers to be violent when they'd arrest people. Even when George Floyd was killed this summer, and Trump's response to rioters and protesters when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Those kinds of comments encourage violence. So how we didn't see January 6th erupting into the violence we saw, it's because we chose to not see. But the signs were clear that Trump supporters were violent. Look at the threats they made to kill the governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer. Trump never once denounced their attempts to kidnap and execute her. Never did he do that. And so it sent a message to his supporters that he was okay with violence to reach their ends, whatever their ends were, whatever the goals were. So I think it was foreseeable violence.
Yes, one can certainly draw that conclusion. And define insurrection for us, because many of us had never heard that word before that day.
Yes, and I'm going to read you the exact definition. Insurrection is considered violence, actual violence against the state or its officers. So sometimes we compare that to sedition. Sedition is organized incitement to rebellion or civil disorder against the state's authority. And then even treason. Treason is actually the only crime that's listed in the United States Constitution. And it is a violation of a citizen's allegiance to this country by betrayal or organizing again with the country's enemies, where we call giving aid and comfort to the country's enemies. And so insurrection is looking at the actual violence that took place against the United States government by Trump supporters, which they tried to say was Antifa or Black Lives Matter individuals, which it was clearly not. So,
Thank you. I just wanted to insert, I guess, this question because you spoke about the contribution or the contributing factors from the former president. Do you think Trump should face criminal charges for his behavior?
I do. And so I teach criminal law. And one of the things that I talk to my students about is conspiracy. Conspiracy is an agreement between two or more people to commit a crime. You don't actually have to have a verbal agreement to commit the crime. It can be a tacit agreement where I am encouraging you to commit a crime, which is against the law. If I ask you to commit a crime, that is against the law.
And what do you say to the people? And encourage it, right? Yes. So what do you say to the people who say that they acted because of the recommendations by the former president? Is that a defense?
Yes, but that exactly proves my point as to why Trump should be held responsible for his words. It is clear that his supporters believe that he was encouraging them to commit the crimes they committed. Entering federal property without authority, that's a crime. Breaking windows, vandalizing the Capitol, those are all crimes. So if their defense is, but the president told me to do it, you can't give someone a pass to commit a crime. Trump is not above the law, so he cannot give a pass to someone to break the law.
Professor Shelley Page, thank you so much for sharing your insight and educating us on those definitions this morning. Well, yes, we certainly have a lot to think about given what happened on January the 6th, and we appreciate Professor Shelley Page for joining us and sharing some things that we may not have thought about before.